Rococo art is known for being ornamental and theatrical. Curves, swirls, metallic, gilding, and pastel colors are all elements of the Rococo era. Rococo fans were used for cooling off the face and keeping away flies. They were also a fashion accessory, and women had fans to go with different outfits. Rococo fans were ornate and pastel in color. Let's get started making our own Rococo fan. As you can see, beginning with the end in mind, these are very curvilinear lines and very ornamental. I had a lot of fun with this decorative style of artwork. Let's begin by painting our fan. Mrs. Foxen's going to give you a plate that has been cut in half and it has the shape of an overall fan. I'm using tempera cakes. And as I started painting my plate, I started using some mixture of the colors so it didn't just have a solid line between the yellow and the orange, but instead I'm taking a little bit of yellow and melting those colors together a little bit. So I'm trying to mix them a little bit on the plate so that it's not so here's the beginning of orange and here's the beginning of red, but instead, watch me in this next step. I'll take a little bit of orange and mix it into my red to give it more of a rainbow effect. These are some ideas to help you get started using whatever kinds of colors or designs you would like to create. Using my paintbrush, I'm also going to be taking my brush and adding on some ornamental details with my paintbrush. So maybe a few scalloped lines or bumpy lines with a few dots that are going towards the center of the fan might be kind of fun. Please feel free to use any of your own ideas, decorations, or patterns for your fan. You might have noticed that I gently tapped the plate to see if the paint was dry enough. Since it was, I went ahead and I took a Sharpie. You could also use a black oil pastel or a crayon to add some designs as well. Let's go into adding some embellishments. These I've sped up the camera quite a bit because I want you to start thinking about your own ideas of what you might want to put into your project. I started out with using some large and small doilies. I added on a few of the rhinestones that you'll see in the back of the room. You can use the glue dots that are available, or if they don't stick, you can also dab on a dollop of glue to make those gems stay. Lastly, I'm going to take some craft sticks and I want to have them in a fan type appearance. Now as that's drying, I felt like the front part of my fan could use a little bit more decoration. So as that's drying, I went ahead and I grabbed a little more paint to add on a little bit more interest and variety of patterns and embellishments to the front. This is helping it make it look a whole lot more interesting and decorative, very much similar to the Rococo style. Oh my gosh, I just love the way this fan turned out. Let's go ahead and take a look at another quick example to again review the steps and give you some more possibilities of embellishments that you could apply onto your fan. So just like in the first example, grabbing some paint and starting to paint this on. Again, I fast forward the video so that again it's just a quick way to remember the steps and to start thinking about some ideas that you might want to apply to your project. In my first example, I made some curvilinear lines with my white, and now I'm just having some fun by adding on some different decorations with paint. There we go. Now once I have got my project painted, I'm going to set that aside so that it can dry for a little bit and start thinking about the embellishments that I want to put onto my project. After it dried, I went ahead and I grabbed an oil pastel. So you can use these with your paints to make it a little bit more interesting. And if your project seems like it's still wet, then you might want to outline with maybe some black paint or just wait for it to dry and start thinking about the embellishments that you can put on. I think that the black oil pastel really makes my patterns and designs stand out. Notice in the back, I went ahead and I grabbed 4 feathers, colors that I thought would look really nicely with my fan. But instead of gluing those 4 feathers on, I cut them down into miniatures so that they can fit onto the back side of my fan. I encourage you to do the same so that you don't have to use so many feathers, but instead adding some color by cutting your feathers down into an idea like so. It just makes your feathers last a little bit further, and it makes it a little bit quicker to finish. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a moment and let that dry upside down. And while it's upside down, I thought I might as well go ahead and start adding on my craft sticks to make this into a fan. There, I love that. Okay, better let that dry now. Once it was dry, I flipped it over to the front side and I went ahead and grabbed some gemstones to add to my project as well. Since the majority of my project had dark colors, I thought these silver ones would look really nice. I love the way my fans turned out. Again, example number 1 and example number 2. Hope you have fun, boys and girls. Thanks for watching.